Okay, so tell me about your story. Tell me everything. How does one person wants to walk from Lisbon to Jerusalem on his own?
What I'm doing with Jerusalem is going with the unknown, simply because I'm sick and tired of knowing the known. That known is, as a human being, is pain, is suffering, is sadness, and it's just the whole collective as a humanity that doesn't actually represent who we are right now, because who we are right now, we're actually painful human beings. We're actually painful human beings where we didn't ask for this pain. All we're asking for is, how do we deal with this pain? How can I learn to love it? But when people are in them positions and how they choose to use and abuse them for their own self-inflicted has long-lasting impacts on generations. Yes, my dad inflicted quite a lot of many abusive patterns in my life, whether that was financial, sexual, physical, abusive, or verbal. And when you experience them as a human being yourself, it is not fair to be a witness. It is not fair to endure that kind of pain. But it is also a responsibility that if you ever understand or are conflicted with that pain, that you as a human being, as a generation to come ahead, that you understand the right from the wrong, and that therefore your future teaching, whether that's through your own children, through other people's children, or through God's children, that you choose and you acknowledge that that is the right inheritance to the future generations. That is so important, because there's a lot out there that a lot of people get abused, and I hate to say it, but they then go on to abuse other people.
Do you feel like you ever had that tendency to indulge in physical or verbal aggression to other people because of that?
Absolutely. In fact, because of my acknowledgement of my upbringing, made me aware of how other people should be treated. Not the fact that this is how you were brought up, so therefore this is how you should treat other people. And that is a very important, and that is the two that distinguish from the lines, is that people who don't know, who have been through that, because they don't know, they sadly go on and create more victims. But when people do know that, they realise, and they're actually an asset to future survivors to know that this is very messed up. And this is also very messed up when it's your dad. When it's like, for me, what I found the hardest is to not turn to family.
How do you feel about being alone for that long? Have you ever walked alone before? Because it's really long. You can have these feelings of loneliness that they can arise. Do you deal with it?
Just get a sense of freedom. I get a sense of that loneliness that I crave when I'm alone walking. That's, some people could say that I'm running away, but in my eyes, I feel like
you are looking.
Yeah, I'm running too. I'm not running away. I'm confronting. I'm running too. But I don't want it to come across like, wow, I'm so healthy. I can walk 5 hours.
You can do it, and you can tell your grandkids about it, and they can do the same, and they feel like super proud, like my grandkids.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't? But that's far from the truth. It's the fact that I'm actually a broken soul. And the reason why I'm on this route is for that reason, is because I'm so broken.
You're finding yourself.
Yeah, and I don't know how to, basically what I'm doing here in Portugal is very free, but I don't know how to cooperate with that kid that's been created on the island. That I'm not him. Yeah. I'm a man.
Do you know the principle?
That was an innocent kid.
We are all, every time different from one second to the other. So you're not the same as you were yesterday. You're not the same as you were 5 years or 10 years ago, you're always growing and learning. You don't have to be the same.
Yeah. But as a human being, we have 80,000 thoughts a day. So can you imagine at least a couple of them broken thoughts?
As another broken person,
Yes, exactly.
I can tell you this.
Exactly.
We're never going to be, again, the same. Again, full little spirits, free in the world.
God never created us to be the same. He created us to be more thriving, more shining, and more surviving. That's what he
says. You can go and spread happiness.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in this journey you're going to find yourself?
Yes. Right now at this moment in time, because I'm away from the island, a very small island, as an island boy, I'm in a very confused state. I've had to put a lot about what I want to concentrate on.
You know, like sometimes we want so much to change something that only when we step out of it and we look from the outside, we realize we cannot change something that is external, but we can change ourselves and we can spread the message of we want to do better. So we go outside and we spread it like you're doing in your road, like
so
I'm doing in my journey.
So that is the message that I send back to Om, is that you're going to be fucked up, you're going to be screwed up, you're going to lose your family, your friends are going to think you're lying, the whole world's going to be a disaster.
And they're going to be against you, but...
I've had a lot of that. But on the long run, if I wasn't telling the truth, I really wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah, that's how the truth works. You know, it gets louder and louder, and unfortunately, it took time.
How many years was your father on court on this entire process?
He got sent to 10 years, 9 years in prison. And when I looked out my window, I see the prison on the corner. Again, it's a small island.
You can see from your room the prison where your father is.
Yeah, from my room in my last flat, I can see all of the city. Beautiful view, like just where I am.
Yeah.
That I could look here, and sometimes I didn't eat for days, and I drank, but I didn't eat, and my body was just like giving up. And I looked out the window, and I remember at night time, and I didn't have electric, so I didn't have computer, didn't have internet, didn't have nothing. And I looked at the prison, and it was all light, you know, all lights everywhere, and meals 3 times a day. I tried to explain to someone that, and they said, yeah, but he's got no freedom. And I tried to explain to them, yeah, but I feel like I've got no freedom on the island. And they just didn't get that. They really didn't.
They're not in your
and it's
state,
so
in your
important.
place.
It's so important. But they thought that if he was free on the island, he was free. But they don't understand that when you are on an island, you are locked.
What's the hardest thing that you would say you've been through?
Childhood. Like your childhood is like everything you learn to make you an adult. Like it gives you confidence, it gives you, you know, sustainability, it gives you everything. But not having that, in some sense, has made me more wary as an adult. Like, it's not the case that I'm walking around like a vulnerable child. It's the case that I'm walking around and I know there's very seriously sick people out there. Very. That much so that it's in my blood. And that is one issue that is developed aftermath, is the fact of my trust in people. If you want to help me, I think you're up to something. Why do you want to help me? Why?
Yeah, you just change people's intentions.
Yeah, I've met seriously sick people in my life who have really destroyed me. Like, why do you want to help me? But at that point, I was like, I need more. God, I need to be with a spiritual guide. I need some guidance in my life. Like, what am I going to do? Okay, you've given me justice, and it felt selfish because I almost said, fuck you. Okay, I've done everything you've asked me. Now give me peace. Give me joy. Where am I going to find it?
Your biggest fear for your journey through Jerusalem? What are you most scared of?
I think it's anything happening to my siblings. They are the biggest concern because some of them didn't get justice. Some of them don't know how to handle it. Again, some of them are angry. So I think they would be heavy, of course, on my heart because I feel responsible because it's my blood. But That's the biggest fear.
You know, human nature is suffering, right? Everyone is suffering their own way, even if it's something worse, something lighter. Everyone has their own struggle.
Put it this way, I'm thinking more about my siblings suffering with life without a dad father figure than I am about the father figure having no freedom. And I never looked for that. All I looked from day one was confrontation, was the standard. I never looked for punishment. Never wanted it. And to this day, I still want confrontation. I should be allowed to go in that prison any time of the day and ask whatever questions I want.
One last thing, you have a hard life. It's hard now because you are learning how to deal with your own things, and I feel for you, and I feel like you're very strong, and it's very brave of your part for you to take this journey, like really. So, one question, if you could say one thing to people that would make their lives better, that would make them strong, a message to humanity, and everyone would hear you, what would you say?
If you have the strength, or if you have the conscience or the wisdom to actually root really down beneath yourself, and if you discover anything that is not normal, is not right, and is not justified, it is really something deep down to really question why you're questioning that, why you're feeling that. And if it is not normal, wherever you are in your life, whenever you get the acknowledgement, whatever's done to you is wrong, I would strongly root and deep dig and go, that is your battle, that is not right, that should not have been inflicted. But I also want to send a message to people who do wrong, and have also had inflicted wrong on them, is that also you too are innocent, and you too should go out and seek justice, while at the end of the day acknowledge your own wrongdoing. And while you do that, you will see that a lot of people have been doing wrongdoing to you too. And that is where your journey will start.